Hey, Family of Christ cross training students, welcome back to our next online version of cross training. Today our topic is the fourth commandment, honor your father and your mother. It happens to be Unit 1, Lesson 6. Make sure you're ready for today's lesson by printing off the handout below. You can see it on the Resources tab. Simply print that off and then follow along on the key points, and then on the back side is the discussion sheet to do at home. Our lesson focus today is this, that as Christians we give parents special honor as God's representatives on earth, gifts of God through whom He gave us the gift of life. And parents certainly are a tremendous blessing, but we're also going to explore other authorities that God has given to us for our benefit as well. So key point number 1 asks this question: what is the fourth commandment? And just like we mentioned before, it is simply this: honor your father and your mother. What does this mean? Martin Luther would give this meaning. He said we should fear and love God so that we do not despise or anger our parents and other authorities, but honor them, serve them, love, and cherish them. Key point number 2 asks this question: why this focus on parents and other authorities? Good question. God has established parents and other authorities for a good purpose. And simply this answer is that they uniquely serve as God's representatives. So kind of a cool thing that God creates human authorities to help give us leadership and direction, to help nurture and develop us as people of God. And they're representing Him. Number 3 on your key point asks this: who are other authorities? So obviously mother and father, but there are other people that God has established as people of authority, meaning they have leadership over us that we can honor. So first of all, legal guardians and caretakers. So this would include, like for an adopted child or foster parents, where they have that legal binding parental role. Caretakers would be babysitters and nannies, all those that parents have given authority to watch over us in their absence. B would be pastors and teachers. And so God has established, both in terms of the spiritual nurturing of people, pastors, DCEs, evangelists, to help lead people to Christ and help them grow in their faith. But even teachers both whether it's in the church or even in your schools where you're learning math and science, we honor those authorities because God intends them for our good as well. C is employers. So it could be a boss or a manager that we might have. So obviously maybe parents might relate to this better, but someday we'll have employers that we need to honor and respect. And then also finally to government officials, which includes police officers, firefighters, military, governing officials, elected officials within the government, and all those we want to honor and respect as well. Question number 4, how do we dishonor parents and others in authority? So we can certainly do that by looking down upon them or making fun of them. Sometimes when we think about rolling our eyes, that is kind of a sign of disrespect, but joking about them at their expense, especially behind their back, that counts too. B is disobeying or rebelling against their God-given authority. So in terms of when authorities give us boundaries or maybe rules to follow, when we disobey those or break those boundaries, we are not only rebelling against our parents, but also in a sense rebelling against God and His authority that He's given to them. Well, how should we honor our parents and others in authority then? So what can we do to honor them? So simply by respecting and speaking well of them. Respecting means to listen to their rules, their boundaries, their guidelines, speaking well of them both in front of them and when away. B would be serving them and coming to their aid. So it's always great if you can ask your parents, hey, is there anything you need? That is a great sign of honor and respect, rather than having to be asked to do things. So seeking them out and coming to their aid as well. C is by obeying them, obviously, following the rules, acknowledging the boundaries and staying within those. And then D would be loving and cherishing them on account of their God-given vocation. So vocation simply means their position that God has established for them. Number 6, am I always to obey my parents and other authorities without question? Now that's a really good question for us to explore. Acts 5:29 speaks to that question, and it says simply this: we must obey God rather than men. So to answer this question would be no, we must disobey them if they require us to disobey God's word. So anytime a parent asks us to go beyond his rules, his boundaries, if they ask us to do something sinful or against God's law,